See, the problem that I have with people who like, there's a big difference between like, hey, I'm a casual fan and then I'm a real fan. So, unfortunately, it's like cut off at the top. But the creator of this post in this group that I'm in said the worst writing decision was giving her powers. And I'm like, how? How is that a bad writing decision? Like, hold on. It's in the comics. It's part of the story. They pulled it from the comics. So to say that in the MCU it was a bad writing decision, essentially you saying it's a bad writing decision as far as the comics go. Because the thing that I don't understand when it comes to people is that we're upset about comic book things, and not everything in the MCU is 1-to-1 a read live action version of their comic book counterparts. No, not everything is a 1-to-1. Like Hank Pym created Ultron, not Iron Man or Tony Stark and Bruce Banner, right? Okay. So with that being said, he said that she could have just stayed in the Thor form and things like that until they figured out a way. Now, someone did proceed to comment and say, listen, they're not on Asgard. And he said, well, because Asgard is destroyed. And he proceeds to say, that doesn't take away knowledge. Like, bro, they're living on Earth. Everything is destroyed. So yes, they have the knowledge, but if you don't have that physical technology and the physical things that they need for the Asgard stuff to work or to do anything, even if they did have a cure for cancer, they're on Earth. Asgard's destroyed. Even I think along with some of the people, so who knows who, you know what I'm saying? It just doesn't make, the take doesn't make sense. Like, if it's like saying Superman, let's just say Superman's planet blew up, but he was an adult and he managed just to still be the only one to escape. That's like saying when Kara comes to Earth and she gets sick, or Lois Lane gets cancer, and then Superman's able to give her Kryptonian powers that would be able to basically, while she has the Kryptonian powers, pause the cancer or whatever the case may be. And then saying, oh, well, he has the knowledge of the Kryptonians, why he's going to use the technology. Well, guess what? He didn't take it with him. He didn't take the stuff that they would use on the planet. That's the thing. Earth. And if Asgard was ahead of time, ahead of Earth, as far as technology and science and all those other things, how would they be able to do this on Earth? that's the thing. You get what I'm saying? So the take is bad. And then also, when she was turning into Thor, the cancer would get worse over time. Now, I'm not 100%. I didn't read this comic line, so I'm not 100% sure if that was the same case for in the comic books, or if that was just a choice they made in the MCU for it to get aggressive every time she turns into, having the powers of Thor. So that's neither here nor there. It's just to establish that the take that this person had was kind of dumb. Then he said this. So like I said, then he said this. None of that reduces their knowledge, but I recall one issue where Jane Thor was the Asgardian rep to a meeting of the 9 worlds, any of whom might have had a cure to cancer. They don't have the Bifrost. Plus, Heimdall died. He was the one who was able to use and travel. He traveled the Hulk. So, I mean, they do have Stormbreaker, but at the end of the day, I'm pretty sure that nobody's going to help the Asgardians, considering that Odin was the ruler and who knows the hatred for the Asgardians. So, but He then proceeds. Bottom line is that the level of tech the superheroes have versus the level of tech available to regular folks makes no sense. I mean, Barbara Gordon is in a wheelchair while Cyborg is running around just for a start. Hard to believe. So, you gotta understand. Cyborg was created with something called a mother box, something that's not of Earth. Okay? So, when we compare someone being in a wheelchair versus Cyborg, understand we're talking about works of fiction. So, Cyborg doesn't even make sense to begin with. Barbara Gordon in a wheelchair is the only thing that makes sense. Okay? After being shot. Okay? Cyborg is something that does not make sense. So, with that being said, people with powers don't make sense. Another thing is, I'm pretty sure if they had a way for her to walk again, they would have done it. They would have done it. Also, you got to think about, what did Barbara Gordon choose to do after being shot? Maybe she opted to be in a wheelchair. Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? Because the thing about it is, if they had these things to cure diseases, and they would do it. But at the end of the day, part of being a superhero is that you can't fix and save everyone. You gotta have some real relatability to it. Like, you can't just have everybody being cool and fine. You know the number one rule: nobody stays dead except for Uncle Ben, right? They never bring Uncle Ben back to life. But I say this to say that you gotta understand that part of being a hero is that you're not gonna save everybody. Part of the whole concept of superheroes is that you've never seen them going out their way to cure diseases. Maybe they cure people on a broader spectrum when someone like spreads some type of virus or spreads some type of toxin, or something's going around turning people into something. But other than that, trying to fix everyday dated things is not in most of these heroes. Like, think. Most of these heroes have powers and things that have nothing to do with being able to cure cancer, put people back in a wheelchair. And the thing is, no one that I can think of, but let me know in the comments, has healing powers to that extent to put Barbara Gordon in a wheelchair, or at least a hero. But if there is, let me know. Because I could always be wrong. I don't want to think I'm right. But let me know what y'all think in the comments about this take. And do you guys think that heroes should give more access to regular humans to be able to cure them or heal physical wounds?